Ronaldo versus Messi. Which footballer is better? As I mentioned before the music break, I don't care where this argument has been done in the past. It settles here right now, right here on Grove Park Community Radio. So it'll be all decided here. We're the kings of this. We know who's better. Well, actually, I'll be relying on my two friends of Luke Tanner and Conor Porter. Luke Tanner is on the Lionel Messi side, while Conor Porter is a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan. Their job on the mics are off is to convince me which one is better. And then after the big argument, after much blood, sweat and tears will be in this argument, I will then have to decide which one has convinced me the most. I must admit, I'm a United fan and Ronaldo did play for us. And yes, it's been a very, very interesting career to watch since he left Man United. So I might be on his side a little bit, but just thought I'd warn you, Luke, you've got a lot to do to try and convince me. Lads, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, thank you.
Perfect. Connor, how are you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm a bit tired because I watched the wrestling last night and I had to get up early to write about it this morning. But now onto football, constantly going. There we go.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So, first of all, Luke, why is Lionel Messi better than Ronaldo and arguably the best player that's ever lived?
Well, for me, Messi is the best player. He's not just the best goal scorer. He is probably the best creator, the best passer of the ball we've probably ever seen. I know this season he's taken the downturn, but at his peak, he was nothing short of exceptional. He holds the record. He holds many records of goals in the calendar year with 91. He's got the most Ballon d'Ors, most FIFA World Player of the Year. Only player in history to score 40 plus club goals in 10 consecutive seasons. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on, and like the goals and the assists are just incredible. And plus, he's got like a whole compilation of goals on YouTube that will just go on forever and ever and ever.
Connor, your thoughts then? Your response to Luke there. He did say that he's won more Ballon d'Ors than Ronaldo.
Yeah, but you could win a Ballon d'Or in your sleep sometimes these days with the voting that goes on there. I mean, even Luke himself would probably say that Messi should have one less Ballon d'Or because Virgil van Dijk should have won it last season. So there you go. There's one dismissal for that argument there.
And 2013 should have been Frank Ribery's. But that's just me.
I would agree with you. Frank Ribery had an absolutely fantastic year for Barcelona there. Not for Barcelona, for Bayern Munich then. He would be even greater if he played for Barcelona. But yeah, it's just the whole Messi situation for me is it's two of one and one of the other, because you have to take into account he has played for Barcelona throughout his entire career, and that's the only sample size that we have of him. And whenever he's been at Barcelona, he's always played in a fantastic team, no matter what, whether it be with the likes of Xavi and Iniesta, David Villa, Sergio Busquets, Dani Alves during those late 2000s and early 2010s, to the current day where he's playing with the likes of Luis Suarez and Antonio Griezmann, doing an absolutely fantastic job for them. It's easy to play as a great player if you're in a great team, but for me, Cristiano Ronaldo has played in very much weaker teams than what Lionel Messi has been in, and he's been just as good, if not better, in the large portions of those seasons as well.
I think the problem I have, Luke, is that Messi is someone that I would still love to see in the Premier League, someone to, go out of his shell a little bit, because he's been at Barcelona, as Conor mentioned, all throughout his career, pretty much since he was a kid. And I can understand why Messi would want to stay, probably owes it to them to dedicate his career to the club, but he's done it there. We know he's successful there. We know La Liga is a special league to him. But do you ever think that maybe he needs to do what Ronaldo did and go to other big leagues and prove that he is the player that we saw in the original league he started in?
Well, personally, I do think, for me personally, I do think he does need to challenge himself in a different league. But if I'm Messi, I just stay where I am, because he's comfortably the best player in the league. He's comfortably the best player at Barcelona, and the team is built around him. But to counteract what Conor said about Ronaldo having being in worse teams than Messi, I don't think that is completely the case. Obviously, at Real Madrid, he had the prime Ramos, Modric, Kroos, Bale, Benzema, Higuain, Di Maria, and even at Juventus, you got Bonucci, Chiellini, Dybala, Higuain again. So it's not like he's played in worse teams than Messi. He's probably played with the same caliber of player as Messi throughout his whole career.
Well, what's your reaction to that then, Conor?
Well, my easy counter-argument would be to refer to the UEFA Team of the Year awards every single season. If we went all the way back to the year that Cristiano Ronaldo first won the Ballon d'Or, which was, Jamie, in Manchester United?
2008.
Yep. Why was that a significant year for Manchester United, Jamie?
Wow, because we won the Champions League.
That's correct. And in 2008, only one other Manchester United player, I think. Oh no, it wasn't even that year. It was the year after that a Manchester United player appeared into the UEFA Team of the Year. In 2008, he was the only Manchester United player in the Team of the Year. But for Lionel Messi's case, Davies was in there, Carlos Puyol was in there. And then we go further ahead to like 2009 when Manchester United still had Ronaldo for a brief moment of time. Only other Manchester United player to appear in that Team of the Year was Patrice Evra. Barcelona, meanwhile, they had Messi, Puyol, Dani Alves, Xavi, Iniesta, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That's half the team already in there. It's easy to play well when you're surrounded by other players that can exceed and rise up to the same expectations of you. Ronaldo did it in an environment where he arguably only had one other player that was on that world-class level around him at that time, and that was, in my opinion, Wayne Rooney. Obviously, you can make the arguments that Paul Scholes was not given the credit that he deserved for what he did in the Manchester United midfield. But other than that, you wouldn't say that there's that many other players in the Manchester United squad that could really inject themselves into the Barcelona team that Messi played with. With the disclaimer that I said about Paul Scholes as well, just the way that Ronaldo has been able to play over the years in different environments, especially at Manchester United, which is why I think a lot of people grew to respect him. He's just been a magnificent player, one that can play with in any sort of environment. He's well-rounded, plays with both feet, can head the ball. He's a much better athlete in terms of strength, speed, and jump height. Messi's got the acceleration on him, but at the same time, you said, Luke, that Messi is looking like he's going to be slowing down a little bit this season. At the age of 35, Ronaldo is looking like he's at the peak of his form, and that's not just because he's playing in the Serie A. We've already seen over the last January transfer window that the Serie A is becoming a much more serious business, but yet Ronaldo is still at the top of his game. You know, he's had success in Portugal, England, Spain, and he's had that growing success now in Italy as well. He's played at world-class teams, but also played at lesser ones as well, whereas Messi's always played with superstars at Barcelona. Ronaldo is always considered to be Portugal's best ever player, but Messi can't even be the best player for his own country. That title belongs to Maradona. Ronaldo has won the Champions League at different clubs and has been a top goal scorer in the competition 6 times in a row. He's also scored more goals in the knockout stages in the competition than Messi. The exact number, I think it is, Lango, let me just find it in my stat sheet that I had prepared for you. The exact number of knockout stage goals that Lionel Messi has scored is 41 in the Champions League, whereas Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 65. So you can see that drastic difference of one player to another when it comes to the knockout stages of the competition and who steps up and who doesn't. And you may say, "Oh, hang on, Conor. You know, those are still very tight numbers." So let's go to the international game then, because this isn't just a club just a club competition. I'm not done yet, Jamie. Let me keep on going.
I was just going to say, I was going to. You're on fire. I was just going to say to Luke, I remember the 2014 World Cup final where it was Germany versus Argentina, and you know the headline. You know, actually, what was really weird? I remember before that game, I never thought about Messi in that final. It was never in my head thinking, hang on, arguably the best player in football could win the biggest competition in football, which is the FIFA World Cup, and that just didn't hit me really. And then I just thought Germany were going to win after that 7-1 bashing in the semi against Brazil. And then what happened? Messi didn't really show up in that final. There was that last-minute free kick in extra time that if he had equalised, we'd have gone to penalties in that final, but instead he lofted the ball over the crossbar, it hit Rosed, and the pressure looked like it got to him, to be honest, even though he had a great World Cup. So, Luke, Ronaldo has won the Euros with a poor squad. It wasn't exactly a great team. They didn't even win matches like any European champions would win a game in a way. They just somehow beat France at their own Euros and won the tournament out of nowhere from a guy called Eder. Yeah, exactly. Who is that? Some player that just had a big moment in his Portugal career. But, Ronaldo's done that. He's been able to win at international level while Messi hasn't.
Oh, wow. Wow, just taking that all in, I feel like I'm like a boxer on the ropes about to get knocked out.
You are Deontay Wilder this Saturday night.
No, I don't know about that. But I think with Messi internationally, obviously it's been well documented that he's had falling out to the Argentinian FA, and obviously he does get frustrated at international level. I think he has mentioned that he does prefer playing at Barcelona, but I think with Messi at international levels, I don't know why he, freezes or bottles it, as some people may say. But I think, I don't know, with Messi at international level, he probably feels like that there's not the caliber of player that is up to his level compared to the players that are at Barcelona.
Okay. I think we've just lost Luke there. You there, Luke?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as I must admit, it's coming to decision time. Unless any of you lads have anything final to say before I decide.
Well, I want to say a few more things. Obviously, I want to adapt. I want to go into more depth on that international stage because I don't think it was covered enough. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, won the European Championship. It was 4 years ago now for Portugal. He didn't play in that final, but he did something that Messi would never be able to do, and that is stand on the sideline and support his international team on whilst they needed him the most. Messi, on the meanwhile, when Argentina fell down on their shorts, he decided to retire from the international game before I think he was in his early 30s. He's in even his 30s now. He decided to retire at the international game. That is something that Cristiano Ronaldo will probably never do until he actually retires from the game itself, which will probably not be for another 10 years or so. At this rate of his peak physical fitness, he's just looking absolutely amazing, controlling and everything like that. But when we expand on it further, top 5 quarterfinal to final goals for international teams, Shevchenko has got 13, Messi's got 16, Ronaldo way ahead on 41. It's just a completely different class of player when it comes into the international stage. He's the first player to win the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A after Juventus' success last season. And, Messi's never won an international trophy, whereas, of course, Ronaldo has won not only the European competition in 2016, but the UEFA Nations League title as well. We are now calling that a reasonable international competition, although we'll have to wait and see if it exceeds the height of the Confederations Cup. We'll have to wait and see. But, it's not just that. Outside of football as well, Ronaldo, to me, he seems like a more recognised brand that will stay around for years to come. I mean, the guy even has an airport named after him all the way in Portugal. Messi, on the other hand, I'm sure he's got recognition in Barcelona and in Argentina. But at the same time, it always feels like unless he wins that World Cup title, he's always going to be in Maradona's shadow. Oh,
well, anyway, I must admit, we must come to the end. But before I decide, let's just all agree that they've created standards that many footballers will never reach at that level. And they're struggling now, as Conor mentioned. Ronaldo's 35 and he's still making 20-year-olds look rubbish. Yeah, they have no idea what to do against him. These young future stars that we're expecting to take over from Ronaldo and Messi, they may never take over their boots. They're both just incredible, and they set standards that may never get beaten. But to decide now, let's do a bit of a drum roll. I don't have any sound effects, and the winner is Conor Porter with Cristiano Ronaldo. Congratulations, Conor. Luke, commiserations.